Hello, folks. Welcome to my channel again. If you haven't subscribed yet, then go ahead and subscribe the channel for awesome podcasts with my favorite football fanatics around here and other vlogs too. We like to say that this is our second podcast of the day, and I would like to sincerely thanks Debashish, Abhilash, Nimesh, and Swastik for giving their time to me. And we'll be discussing on some of the key matches that happened recently. We were not able to do because we had some other stuff as well. We have our primary work also, so we got today the time to stick together and let's discuss on this. First is guys. You tell today. Shall we do it in a chronological way in the Barcelona and Bayern Munich, then coming to final, or the final then the Barcelona thing? Which one you would like to discuss first?
Anything you would like, we are
Okay, then
okay to
okay, then then
discuss.
then then get it done with the preliminary section that of the final one. Okay, PSG versus Bayern Munich, 1-0. Coman heading there the goal to, to pushing Bayern Munich to another new road for what the road of kings, you can say. Bayern Munich, the way they're playing right now, and it was really a good match also. But we had some chances coming in from PSG as well. So yeah, guys, let's drop in with your views and analysis. Yeah, Abhilash, start
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I think that was a very close match, and the difference was Manuel Neuer,
Mm-hmm.
because PSG was quite attacking, and what I liked Bayern was that they did not play their original high-end game.
Okay.
They dropped back in defense and did not use the high line against the PSG, and that was a clever move to do.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, uh, One thing that showed is this band team can dismantle a team 8-2 and can dug deep and win 1-0 as well. So that's a characteristic of a great team.
Yes,
So I
could
think
agree.
on the field of play, Bayern was the deserved winners. PSG did not take their chances.
Mm-hmm. So I think the two teams from the Premier League were monitoring the situations of I think so Philippe Coutinho and Thiago Alcantara. I think Philippe Coutinho for Arsenal there was uh, it was there linked, and also for Liverpool Thiago Alcantara was linked. Winning the Champions League, they will be reassuring their places there or moving out for a better placement in the team.
Coutinho has already returned to Barcelona. He was from loan from Barcelona.
Yes.
And I think that depends upon what Koeman, the new Barcelona manager, thinks about Coutinho. So
Okay.
if Messi leaves, Coutinho might play a huge
Yeah.
role in that team, and there is a void which Coutinho can fill because he's a world class player. And
Yes.
about Thiago Alcantara, I think Bayern and Thiago don't have any issues. I think Thiago just needs uh, a new challenge, you can say,
Hmm.
and that's why they have mutually agreed a minimal fee for Thiago, that is 30 million euros,
Okay.
and out of respect, you can say they are allowing Thiago's decision to go for a new challenge. Other than that, you don't need to scout Thiago. Thiago is a world class midfielder.
Yes. Yes.
So
That's what.
whichever teams it goes, it will, and especially I think if there is a vacancy of midfield, because Wijnaldum is connected to Barcelona,
Mhm.
and Koeman being a national manager was a national manager for Wijnaldum may get
Okay.
him. So I think then Thiago might go to Liverpool. Otherwise, Thiago will have a lot of suitors.
Okay.
He can choose whatever club he wants to go, because whichever club he goes, he will be the first name on the team sheet.
Okay. Now coming to the real champions of Champions League, Liverpool and Real Madrid. So how do you think that this Bayern Munich team will go on to stage another top fight in the next Champions League or coming so in the next 2 to 3 years? So you think Liverpool will be capitalizing or Real Madrid coming to and fro situations and all in the next 2 to 3 years, or Bayern Munich coming as the real king of football? And you can chip in, Nimesh or Sostek, yeah.
Yeah, I think Bayern have a very good team. As a team, they are so brilliant, and they are playing like a well-oiled juggernaut, and
Yeah.
they keep pressing the opponent, taking the ball away from them, and as Abhilash rightly pointed out, they are able to uh, dig deep and play for a 1-0 win as well. It's not
Mm.
just the flamboyant 8-2 that we saw against Barcelona, and that is what shows the character in the team, and the perseverance the players have. They do not have stars as per se, but they do have players who are working very hard every minute, and players like Mueller, players like Thiago Alcantara, they are running from box to box and coming back to defend when needed. They
Yes.
are a very good team, and I think they are going to be there in the fray for 2 or 3 years coming. And Liverpool has a great side. They will be the ones who would give them a good run for their money.
Yeah. And yeah, so Stick, what's your take on the new Bayern Munich team winning
I
it?
think whenever we start Champions League in the past 2-3 seasons, Manchester City is one of the favorites always, but they are underperforming because of some tactical issues. Pep plays in some tactical means means how do I say, means he always tries something new in the knockout stages, which makes them means they are
It's
serious
tactical
contenders.
blunders.
Yeah, tactical blunders every time. But if they buy Messi, they will again be another. Means then again start as the contenders. But in the last 15 matches that Bayern had played in Champions League, they have only lost once. And
Mhm.
you know who defeated them? So I think we have got a. I think we have got a chance in the Champions League definitely, and we will give tough competition to any team in the knockout stages. And due
Okay.
to Adrian only, we got out in the Champions League. I think due
Hmm.
to goalkeeper blunder. Else we would have given competition and we would have gone to the finals.
Okay.
Anyways, we
Talking
are not.
about
We were.
goalkeepers, what is
Yeah.
with the right foot of Neuer? Has he borrowed it from Yoda or someone? He keeps showing that right foot out against Lyon, against PSG. He has really stepped up, I feel.
Yeah.
Manuel Neuer is the goat of goalkeepers, I think, and he
Yeah,
was the difference mainly in the final. He saved three clear-cut chances, and Mbappe underperformed in the final, and Neymar also performed not up to his mark. Actually, I think Bayern team was very compact,
Yeah.
and the pressing for 90 minutes. They press for 90 minutes. I think they don't. They are means relentlessly working. They have
yeah,
Okay.
high
exactly. When
fitness.
you see other teams play, they press for some 70, 80 minutes and they tire, but that is not the case with Bayern.
Yeah. So yeah,
I
coming
think
to now. Yeah.
Even now Bayern have someone called Leroy Sané in their wings as well.
Yeah, that
yeah.
is going to
So
give
they
them
will again
extra
be competitors,
bite.
obviously.
And having Davies and Sané in one wing is quite frightening.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And I think we don't get them in group stages of Champions League. Otherwise, they will destroy us.
And yeah, coming
They are
to
in
now.
pot one,
Yeah. What?
pot one
Yeah, yeah.
of the
But
Champions
we'll
League.
be in
Okay.
pot two. Pot two or
Hmm.
pot three will be.
Okay. Yeah. So I was trying to say, coming to Debashish now. Debashish, what's the agony of Bayern Munich against London clubs? Means our London teams can't face Bayern Munich, or so it's is it a jinx or what? What happened with you guys with Bayern Munich?
No, let's rephrase
First,
it that what will happen if next season with this team having six signings, do you think there will be improvement in result and you will be able to come close to Bayern?
okay. I think we discussed somewhat about this in the previous blog, but let me reiterate once again. I think Chelsea making six signings is not much of a relevance in terms of shift of power in the footballing world, because even if the six signings, I think here everyone will agree with me that it won't take Chelsea above the level of Liverpool or Manchester City. the signings are more on to these are more to do with fixing what we were lacking in the previous season, and it is a testimony to Lampard what he was able to achieve with the team we had previous season, and we are just trying to fix the issues that we had previous season. And coming to Champions League, we played Bayern in two legs and we were beaten thoroughly 8-1 on aggregate. They defeated us 3-0 in Stamford Bridge, and obviously Chelsea had a very bad defense. But once again, it was a mark of how good Bayern Munich were, and we were earlier. We were one of the early victims of this amazing run that Bayern had in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And after beating us 8-1 in the over two legs, they did something very horrendous with Barcelona, beating them 8-2 in one leg. So that kind of took the limelight away from the defeat that they gave to Chelsea, and Barcelona was on the receiving end. But when you have a player like Lewandowski who can score 55 goals and some 20 odd assists in the league and overall, and it's a shame that he won't be winning the Ballon d'Or this season. It's clear sign of where Bayern Munich are and where other teams are. And I think I would like to highlight one point also, something which happened off the field, the Mbappe tweet about the Farmers League when Lyon beat Manchester City. And it is a clear indication that apart from the traditional leagues, big four leagues, that is Premier League, La Liga, I don't know about Serie A, but I think French League is also coming up now. Lyon did very well, reaching to the semi-final. We can't take anything away from them, and they obviously had to face Bayern, the eventual winners.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's a clear shift of power. It's not shift of power. I think now the leagues are more evenly distributed. I won't agree that a team like Liverpool or City can just come and walk over everyone else from any other league. And I think that is a good thing for Champions League and for the fans as well.
Okay, so when you compared 8-2 against Barcelona for Bayern Munich, it was just like I was seeing that Germany versus Brazil World Cup. It was so similar to that because scoring 8 against Barcelona is irrelevant if you see. If you don't watch the match overnight and you see the scoreline in the morning, for those who guys missed the match and found out the news 8-2, so they could not believe. So what went wrong there with Barcelona? 8-2 wins. You see, 3-0, 4 or 5 goals with 3 goals apart. So that is fine. But 8-2 with a team like Barcelona and Messi, we are talking about, Barcelona fans are talking about like Messi building around the team and Messi running the club since the past 2 seasons. So what actually went south with Barcelona there?
I think what happens with big teams is when you are down in a knockout game, you always try to get back at the other team, and that is what pushes you to push forward, to score goals, to equalize, and that is when you are vulnerable at the back. And then people like Bayern, the team they are very good at attacking, they're very good at controlling the game in the midfield, closing you down. If they nick the ball off you, then they are on a free run, they are going to score. So when you're down in a knockout game, you for obvious reasons are going to throw the kitchen sink at the opponent. You just cannot stay back, and Barcelona cannot do damage control. You can't expect them to do damage control at 3-0 down, 4-0 down. If you take a look at the start of the game, they were at it. It was end-to-end stuff at the start of the game, but once Bayern pulled away, Barcelona tried their best, but again they were caught on the counter, and Bayern scored some beautiful goals against them. Okay. But I would expect it to happen to any other big team. Big teams are not going to sit back and just watch the other team play well and defend because you're already 3-0 down. They will go for it. The same happened with Real Madrid when in 2010 Ronaldo, Kaká, all of them had come to Real Madrid and they were down 2-0, then 3-0. They kept pushing to score goals, but they kept conceding. This is going to happen to big teams. Nothing to take away from Bayern. They are a very good team and they scored some brilliant goals. But I think 8-2 is a little too much, but you kind of expect that to happen in a knockout game.
Okay, now going to Abhilash. Yeah, Swastik, yeah.
I think because of the one-legged matches, they considered 8. If
Exactly.
it would have been two-legged, they would have stayed back. They would have defended,
Mm.
but they would have tried to do damage control. But once it is a one-legged match, you don't have any option, right? You have to go forward and try to
Mm.
score equalize, as Nimesh said. So
I think
there were many open spaces, and obviously with the
3 goals
quality
scored
ban
in the
have
last 10 minutes. 3 goals were scored in the last 10 minutes, and they
that
had
was
already
not
given up.
actually, yeah, that was not so that basically they should have tried to keep it to 5, and they should not have given up. I think
And
it's
the
a
main
lack
thing
of
is the Bayern team is relentless. If you had added 2 more minutes, they would have scored 2 more goals because they
yes.
don't keep on stopping. They will keep on scoring and scoring.
Yeah, and yeah, coming to my Manchester counterpart there, Manchester United, Blush. So Blush 8-2 is a scoreline that we both normally fit in, but at least now people are
Yeah,
going to talk about Barcelona and Bayern and forget about Arsenal. So I'm really
I think
happy about that.
that
Yeah.
that scoreline was because of a worst team of Arsenal because five to
Mm,
six first team members were injured that time, and
yes.
Frimpong was
I
playing.
think that's why that scoreline came. But
Okay.
this Bayern and Barcelona one is a more dampening one compared to
Yes.
Arsenal and
Yes.
United one.
And I don't know why Piqué and Ter Stegen were playing at the back when they couldn't control it. He was passing 2 yards passes. Ter Stegen was passing 2 yards passes to Piqué. It was of no help, and he was passing back and he was clearing. Then Bayern got the ball. There were open spaces. They scored like that twice or thrice.
The
So
perfect
you can't
example
give
is
a,
how PSG changed the game
yeah.
to Bayern. They put the Navas put the long ball to Neymar or Mbappe to control it because you have to bypass that pass when you can't when the team is pressing you at the highest. The same thing with Liverpool as well. Liverpool play kind of slow Bayern, so you have to bypass that pass and bypass the press and go to the higher balls. Every time you cannot play in the box, you are asking for trouble. I think
Okay.
would have scored more when clinical. I think I thought it would be 12-13. How much chances Bayern missed?
12, 13 there. Okay, that was some really good performance by Bayern there. And now the next match that we have to bring spot on was the UEL final. Yeah, Sevilla and Inter. Both of them were playing really well. All and also from Manchester United point of view,
It's a Sevilla
Lukaku.
Cup.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, we was
exactly.
just
I think
Manchester United point.
Sevilla has cracked the cheat code for Europa League. I mean, six Europa Leagues, and how many years has Europa League been started? It's some decade or 15 years, and they have won it 7 times.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that
Yeah.
is a
So
huge feat.
Yeah, and
I think
also the yeah.
Sevilla as a team is not growing. If you win UEL continuously and you don't do anything in the Champions League, it's of no use, right? And you
No.
are
I
not
think
doing
Sevilla as
anyways.
a club doesn't have that financial power
Yeah,
to grow
financial
more
backup.
Yeah.
than if they are given the financial backup. I think Sevilla would be a better team than Atletico Madrid. I think
Yeah.
they
And
have the technical quality.
this season,
And
I think Sevilla has a chance to compete for La Liga if Messi goes. And Lopetegui is a very good manager, and they will definitely miss Navas and Ever Banega because they are leaving.
yeah.
But Ever Banega had
Mainly
one of the best
Banega.
seasons.
Banega controlled the midfield in all the 4
Yeah,
matches.
Yeah.
he had
I
one of the
And
think,
best seasons of his
except
life.
I think the United match where he struggled. And apart from that, all other matches he controlled the whole mid. He was the only one better than all the midfielders of both the teams.
okay.
Yeah, he's like the
And
anchor
also
man in the midfield.
yeah, and also
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Inter team, if you put spotlight on Inter team, they're also not a bad team either because Lukaku has been performing really well after going from Manchester United to Inter, and also we can see also the United connection with Ashley Young there. So, what do you think, Abhilash? What went wrong for Inter at day?
See, if you see the general play of Inter in Syria, it's not that good. They they just throw the ball up to Lukaku to hold it up and they play it from there. So they didn't. Conte hasn't put a particular style of play over there. So it was bound to happen when they interfaced a good team. They were bound to struggle because good teams will keep possession, keep the ball, and they will get frustrated. And one more thing is that Lukaku will always score goals. He has scored goals for United as well. But
Yes.
if you want to play a particular style of play, Lukaku will struggle because of his all-round awareness of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think Inter lacked, and I think Sevilla. I made the prediction that Sevilla will win it against Inter against all the odds because I thought the play how Sevilla plays, keeping the position, I think it will frustrate Inter, and that showed in the game.
Okay. And
And
also,
what a
yeah.
revelation this guy Jules Koundé has been. He has been
Yeah.
there in the defense, and he's like the man to look up to. The entire Sevilla defense is looking up to him, and he has been defending so well, don't you think?
Yeah. I think I was very impressed by Jules Koundé. I think the hype was around Diego Carlos, but I thought he, being a 21-year-old, I think that's a great find by Monchi, the director of football of Sevilla.
Mhm.
I think Jules is of France, right, Nimes?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, yes.
It's
He is of France,
I
and
think he
probably
resembles a little like Varane.
yeah,
I see a
probably
lot
he'll
of
replace Varane in
resemblance.
the coming days, given how Varane has performed in the Champions League.
After seeing Jules Koundé performance, I thought why United are not going after him because he is a 21-year-old
He's a very
performing like
talented
a
player.
25, 26-year-old. A
Correct.
calm head.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, I have some interesting facts coming up over here. We are talking about Diego Carlos and Jules there. So,
Oh, one more thing.
it will, yeah.
Nimes, are you keeping, are Real Madrid keeping Reguilon or they are selling Reguilon?
They are, for the time being, keeping Regulon. We don't know what is to come in the future, but let's see. We hope to
He
keep him
seems
because
to be
he
a
has
great
been,
prospect.
Yeah.
yeah, he has
Yeah.
played really well in the Europa League. He's running. He is hardworking. He's always been there for that Sevilla left back position, and very impressive performances in the
Yeah.
Europa League.
Yeah,
And
this
also,
is
you can see that in Trans 6, also, Jesus Navas was the first one who was included in the first ever trophy that was lifted by Sevilla, the UL final. And also, what, 14 to 15 years later, he's again there with Sevilla. So, so we can also take the spotlight out of this Jesus Navas as well, because what he has achieved in
Hmm.
this in this decade and also 5 years more to it is he's also a true champion in silent because he was playing at Manchester City. He was a very good player also in Manchester City, and and to this also he is winning trophies and all, which is Boyhood Club is also very good for him. And yeah, and so coming to this Sevilla situation now, and coming in the next La Liga, what La Liga, the league that is going to start. Nimesh, do you rate Sevilla coming to the likes of in top contenders with ahead of Valencia? Valencia is not going to anywhere with this present scenario. But do you think
Hmm.
Sevilla coming to spotlight in the next season in
I
Champions?
absolutely think they are going to be there in the top two at least, if not winning the
Mhm,
La Liga.
mhm,
They have a brilliant squad. If they are able to keep their players, they have a squad which has gelled up over the years. And if they're able to keep the players who are performing well, like Kunde, they will be there challenging Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid for the league. And what is to be admired about Sevilla is how each player adapts to the coaching style every year when they have a change in coach. Lopetegui has come in. He put Jesus Navas, a right winger, as a right back, and he has played as a right back so well. He's a player you can admire because uh, of the work rate he has and how he has adjusted to the right back position. Similarly, other players too, whenever they are asked to play out of position and whenever they are asked to play for the team, they do not show the back to the manager. That is something which you need to admire about Sevilla, and I think that is something which is going to take their team ahead. Given the fact that they need to keep their players, not sell them, their financial condition is better than Valencia. Hopefully, they'll keep the players. And over the years, they have been a selling team. They have always produced good players and have sold them. But let's see what happens in the transfer market. I hope they really step up and challenge for the league.
Okay.
I will
Yeah.
slightly disagree with Nimesh on this, that they will be in the top two or three. I think they will be in top four. And one more thing is that they will lose Reguilon to Real Madrid or some other team who Real Madrid sells, if they will. And second thing is that Banega is not there, and I don't think Sevilla has that financial capability to replace Banega. They will bring in a young one and who will take time to gel with it. And one more thing is Sevilla type of play suits them in a knockout competition, how they play. To take it into a league, I think they don't have that much quality to win a league or finish in the top two even, because Sevilla plays a very uh, free-flowing kind of play, you can say. They don't. I don't think they will be able to grind out results like the Atletico Madrid's to for the league to be in the contention. But they will be there around. But I don't think they will be in the top two.
Okay.
I agree with Abhilash here. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason being, Sevilla, although is a very good team and they are very good to watch, but the teams above them, that is Real Madrid and Barcelona, they have players who can individually decide a match, and these kind of players are in abundance in Barcelona and Real Madrid. And I don't see Sevilla having those kind of players who can win any match individual on any given day, and nor do they have the financial clout to go in the to get some players like that in the market. So I think that is the main reason why they will finish in the top four, but I don't see them challenging the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Okay.
I
So
just
I
wanted
think I
to
think
ask.
the situation in a lot of clubs in La Liga is not so good, and having won the Europa League, Sevilla are going to be bolstered up all in confidence, and that might be something that might push them to the top. Yeah, they might not finish top two, but they are going to be up there. It won't be surprising if they do. That is what the point is. They
Yeah, yeah.
might just bring up a surprise because they have a team which is all in confidence and all gelled up. Yes, they've lost Banega and they are going to lose Regulion. So let's see what they can do in the transfer market, whether they are able to pull in some player. Only time will tell.
okay.
But I think they are going to be their top two, maybe top three. They are going to be there. Real Sociedad, whether they will be able to give competition to Sevilla this year, I don't think so.
Okay.
Real Sociedad will not be able to give because they have lost their best player in Odegaard. He has gone back to Real Madrid.
Yeah. Yeah. Swastik, your turn.
Also, we are forgetting that Jesus Navas has played his last season for Sevilla, and he will
Yes.
also
Yeah,
be
yeah.
leaving.
He
Yeah.
So
will be
there are
also leaving. Yeah.
three positions that needs to be filled by Sevilla. And coming
Three
back
main
to
positions.
Nimesh, I wanted to ask one question. He said that the league will be challenged by Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. So don't you think Barcelona has a chance to win the league after winning 8 in 10 seasons,
They
even
do
if
have a
Messi
chance,
goes?
but given the situation, I think the administrative situation is not in favor of Barcelona, and there are going to be, with the change of coach, there are going to be a number of other changes as well.
Yeah.
Maybe playing style and a lot of other changes like in personnel. So that is going to affect Barcelona. So they might not win they might win they still have a very good team, but those challenges are going to be tough to come through and win the league.
Okay.
I think
And yeah.
Leeds just now confirmed their signing of Rodrigo. Nimesh, for a record signing of Leeds history, that is 35 million pounds. And Nimesh, whatever I have seen of Rodrigo, I see him more of a winger compared to a clinical striker because he misses
Correct.
lots of chances.
Correct.
So what's your take on how Rodrigo plays?
Rodrigo is very fast, very nippy. He is more like a Vinicius than a Olivier Giroud kind of a player, or a Lewandowski kind of a player who are up there to receive the ball and finish. Rodrigo is not that kind of a player. He tries to get through balls. He tries to run past defenders. So that is where the difference is. Yes, he does miss quite a lot of chances because Valencia had a decent midfield who were creating a lot of chances for him. How he performs at Leeds United would be interesting to see.
Okay. So
is Maxi Gomez a better player than Rodrigo?
I would say in terms of free-flowing football, you would prefer Rodrigo. In terms of if Atletico had to take a player, they would take Maxi Gomez, not Rodrigo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming to the conclusion of this podcast, just before that, I want to ask my Swastik competitor, the Liverpool competitor, are you in for today's match, Community Shield? It's kind of a charity match, but still, it's a match that we have
It's
fought
not
and.
Charity match. It's between the champions of FA Cup and champions of the league. So don't take it as charity match.
No, this is the comment that was
Actually-
passed on to me by Swastik itself. So Swastik himself. So that's why I was just agreeing to his point. Because for us,
No,
yeah, tell me, Swastik.
our manager said that Club World Cup was a small trophy, but when we won, we were very happy. So see, it's similar for Community Shield. We will go all in, and
Yes.
everyone has come back. I think
Yeah.
Henderson will not play.
Mhm.
We will play
Liverpool,
Fabinho.
everyone is fit.
Yeah,
Van
we will
Dijk
play
and,
Fabinho, Keita, and Curtis Jones in the midfield, I think.
Okay.
what about Arsenal? Are Willian and Saliba starting or they will be playing or not?
Yeah, because Willian, I think so. He will be playing, and because he didn't play the pre-season that one match that he played against.
I don't think then he will start.
Because
If he hasn't
Saliba
played
played.
the
Yeah.
pre-season match. Yeah. I think of the bench, I think. But
Yeah,
Willian is quite a good option from the bench. He can change the game.
Yeah, that is what, because we need to see what are the teams playing, because it's also an important match here. It's not that.
I think these games are in this current scenario are quite important because you don't have much time to prepare for the season.
Yeah.
So these games will make you running for this season.
And we
And,
have
one more.
We should dominate Arsenal and win to get our confidence and start the season against Leeds.
The thing is, both the teams are kind of similar to what we saw in the last season because none of them had made any major signings. So I think you can assess how the teams were last season, and if you go by that, I think Liverpool will come on top of Arsenal. But since they have Arteta, I won't be surprised to see
I think
Arsenal
will go like a Man City match. How they prepared for that. I think they will go tactically. They will go similar.
Yeah. So okay, we'll
At least we will have some football to see.
Yeah, that's what. So okay, guys, we have the match today at 9 o'clock. So we'll be seeing that. And thank you for giving your time for this podcast. Now, thank you, Debashish, Abhilash, Swastik, and
watch along.
Thank you.
We'll see that.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Nemes.
Thanks, Nemes.
Thank you.
Oh, when I'm working home. Oh, when you're living on faith. Something's got to give.